trading game? Yes! Okay, great. I'm gonna walk you through a couple things. I see a few of you have opened your packets already. That's cool. What we're gonna do is there are two personas in the marketplace. There's what? Someone tell me. Buyers and suppliers. So you guys are gonna split up into teams. Write your names at the top of your ledgers, like who's on your team for that buyer card or your supplier card. So if there's 8 of you at a table, you can split up into 4 and 4. And then you can say like Greg and Alan and Stacy are a supplier. And then the rest of the people are buyers. So I'm going to walk through this. Feel free to just raise your hand and ask a question because I'd like to get all the questions out now so that when you playing the game, you can just play the game, okay? I don't really have to go through this with you guys, but we're trying to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. This is a rough draft of our marketplace and what we'll be doing today. And you will see that there are 2 tables outside. There's right in front of you when you walk out, the exchange for your US dollars, which are recorded on your ledgers. Can anybody hold up their ledger? Those are ledgers. There you go. So those are just going to keep track of your US dollar accounts for your businesses as a buyer and a supplier. So if you're a buyer and you're given funds for 1 year to reverse your impact, then as you buy Nori tokens, you go to the back and we'll give you Nori tokens and we'll subtract from your account there. So that's how you keep track of your US dollars on the ledger. How you keep track of your Nori? You're going to have Nori tokens. How you keep track of your CRCs? You're going to have printed out Nori CRCs. So how do you keep track of your US dollars? Ledger. On the ledger. Awesome. Okay, this is a game that is hopefully going to simulate to you at a very rough level what we're thinking about with the Nori carbon removal marketplace. Again, it's a high level. We're not doing the verification piece, which is a big deal. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But the idea is just to show you how the marketplace might work. It's a simulation. So how to play. We've already divvied up the buyers and suppliers cards. Raise your hand here if you do not know what team you're on or like what group you're in. Okay, so there should be a buyer and a supplier for each table. I'd like to have one of each at each table. All right, so raise your hand if you are not on a team. Everybody's on a team. Are you not? Okay. Okay. We're going to play for 2 years. As a supplier and a buyer, you're going to see 2 things. We're going to play quarterlies, like quarters, for 2 years. So that's a total of 8 rounds. The goal for buyers is to reverse your impact. You want to purchase CRCs to meet those goals. That's the yellow portion of your graph. For suppliers, the goal is to make returns on what you invested, which you see on the right, and just maximize your revenue for that. At the end of the 2 years, we will calculate how well suppliers did in meeting their goal and how well buyers did in meeting their goal. Meaning, buyers, if you did not buy CRCs to meet your sustainability goals, you're going to be penalized by paying at $15 a ton of CO2, the California cap and trade price. Does that make sense? So don't hold out too long. Okay, here's an example. I'm going to walk through this really quickly. The paragraph at the top gives you some lovely context. Doesn't really matter. It's just to make it colorful. What really matters is how much CO2 you want to remove from the atmosphere to meet your sustainability emissions goals. On the right side is how much you've been allocated in funds by your company. So the first year on this one on Gold Star Energy, you have $1.5 million to meet this goal. On the second year, you have $5 million. Does that make sense? So we're doing how many years? So it's a total of how many rounds? 8. Awesome. So between round 4 and 5, we're going to allocate the second rounds of funding for buyers. You'll go up to the back, and our bankers in the pink pens, you are not allowed to write on your ledgers, guys. We have pink pens, and we will void any ledger, anything that was written not in pink. Okay? Just letting you know. And we'll give you your new balance between rounds 4 and 5. And the same thing for suppliers. You'll go back between rounds 4 and 5. I'll tell you guys all. And you can get your second year supply of CRCs, and you decide on when you want to sell. So for suppliers, again, you're told this is how many tons of CO2 you can remove for each of these years. You decide when you want to have Nori pay for them by providing you Nori tokens. So that's the table where you got your badges this morning, the registration table. If you go out here, take a right, that's the CRC and Nori piece. Okay, now we're gonna play. Each slide will announce a new market price for Nori. That's how this is gonna work. The price changes over time. You can only do 1 move per round, meaning that in the first round you can either exchange your US dollars from your ledger for Nori, or you can sell your CRCs to Nori for Nori tokens, excuse me. I'm gonna say Nori tokens. And then you have to wait the next round to make another move, okay? No 2 moves in 1. At the end, we'll have a cash out round, so you can make, they're technically 9 rounds, but it's a cash out round, it doesn't really count. I just want to go back here and reiterate this. Does everybody understand this right-hand side? This is how currency is flowing. It's through US dollars to Nori tokens to CRCs to Nori tokens. Great. Can you buy CRCs with US dollars? No, you can't. You gotta buy Nori tokens. Great. Okay, you guys ready? Oh, we have a question. Yeah, just arbitrary. I mean, do you want to be on the supplier? But you have to decide now. Karen. You are committed. No insider trading and skipping and like moving around. Lorraine. Sure. Okay. So Lorraine had a question as how, guys, sorry. Lorraine had a question as to what the CRCs mean in relation to the tokens. So suppliers, you are given CRCs. Only suppliers, people who are on a supply team, should have the square CRCs. That's because in the first year we made it easy and we just gave you what you're able to sell to Nori. So as a supplier, in the first round, what you can do is, can anybody take a guess with your CRCs? Yes, sell your CRCs for Nori token. Where do you do that? At the table, the registration table. Take a right. So right in front of me is the exchange for US dollars to Nori token. That's for buyers originally. And then to the right is the CRC to Nori. There are signs. You can see them. Okay, any more questions? Karen.
Are we allowed to bank?
Are you allowed to bank? What do you mean?
We bank? We can bank. Okay.
No, you are not allowed to write on your ledger. You're not the bank. You gotta go to the back and get a pink pen. Okay. Okay. Raise your hand if you're ready. No one's ready. Okay. Okay. Raise your hand if you're ready and you have a team. Everybody else is talking. Okay. The right side of the room is ready. The left side of the room is not ready. Do you guys know what you're doing? Okay, we're gonna run through this. The first couple rounds will take longer than the next, but it's okay. All right, I'm going to announce the first round price for Nori to US dollars, okay? When I announce this, you can do one thing, really. So if you're a buyer, you can decide whether or not you want to buy Nori tokens by going straight to the back and having that taken off your ledger and get Nori tokens. They're actual poker chips. If you're a supplier, you can choose whether or not you want to sell your CRCs for Nori token on the table to the right, okay? We'll help you. Jacob, Jacob. Jacob in the back, that's Jacob, he's a Nori nut. Here is Paul, our CTO, Paul 2. He will also be helping you guys and myself. Okay, drum roll. The first quarter price is $1 for a Nori token. So, suppliers, you can choose to sell your tokens, your Nori tokens, to Nori, or your CRCs to Nori for Nori tokens at this table. Buyers, if you want to buy your Nori token at $1 per Nori token, go straight to the back. Okay, I had a really good question. How many Nori do you get for CRCs? What is it? Yes, so if I have 5,000 CRCs, how many Nori do I get? 5,000! Okay, so Nori to CRCs is always a ratio of 1 to 1. Okay? The US dollar to Nori token price is what's changing. Okay, we seem to be good. Has everybody made their move? Speak now, forever hold your peace, raise your hand if you need more time. raise your hand if you need more time. Well, you cannot trade CRCs for Nori at your table between each other. The marketplace is where you get the Nori token. So Sean here wanted to give this guy to Josh for Nori tokens.
So we both go?
Yeah, you need the marketplace to do that. Yeah.
Go together. We walk over there together.
Unless you found your supplier and buyer and made the transaction really quick. That's what Nori's doing, guys. You gotta go to the marketplace. Did you guys trade?
Marketplace, we're waiting.
Okay, we're doing round 2. Okay, round 2. I want someone to give me like an emphatic drum roll. Yeah. Okay, thank you. $4. The price of Nori is $4.
What are your hopes? You need to make sure that's Yeah. I can help you. Right now you're correct. You'll never actually exchange Nori token or CRCs with each other. It's
It's always through the marketplace or US dollars. Yeah.
We're gonna get their Nori.
We're moving on. We're moving on. We're gonna get quicker. Watch this. You're gonna get used to it. Q3. Drum roll. Who's giving me a drum roll? Yeah. Boom. $6. All right. Make your moves. What do I need? I need a drum roll. That's $2. That's $2. I'm sorry. It's Q4. We're going into the second year. That means you can send one person from your team now to the Nori exchange and the CRC exchange to get your year 2 funds added to your US dollar ledger and get more CRCs to trade. So this is an intermediate round. Go, everybody goes. Unless you don't want your money, go get more US dollars added to your ledger. Or, yeah, you guys are fine. Did everybody get their second year funds? Raise your hand if you didn't get your second year funds in CRCs or dollars. That's not a real hand raise. That's a conversation. Okay. Who's ready for the second year? Yeah! Love it. All right. I need my drum roll. I need a drum roll. All right. It's $8. Thank you for the drum roll. Let's do this. Where's my drum roll? I love the teamwork. $6. $6. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Okay, we only have 2 more rounds, guys. You have 2 more rounds. If you are buyers, you want to meet your missions goals. You're betting now only 2 more prices. Remember, if you don't meet your goals, at the end we're going to count up and you're going to have to buy it at a price of $15 per ton of CO2 at the California Cap and Trade price. Okay, drum roll. $12. Drum roll. $17. I hinted it so hard. So, we're done. Now, you can cash out if you'd like to, if you have Nori and you want to get your ledger updated. You can also, if you have Nori and you're a buyer and you still need to meet your goals, you can go buy your CRCs. So that's the cash out round. You can do it now. Meet your goals because the Nori knots are going to start coming and looking at buyers, and they're going to penalize you at a price. So for what you didn't meet. So you guys want to cash out? No? Okay, great. Jacob and Paul, do your thing. Count the penalties. Christoph and Katie will come around and count how well we did in meeting our reversal goals.
And
Can you write that 28.3?
on my end, it's 5.05 today.
That's 28.3. That is. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. How was the game? It was good. It was entertaining. This is a summit for climate change reversal. Did you feel like it was fun? Yes. Okay, I wanted it to be really fun. So we're just gonna debrief on what we learned. Can you guys, let me get a couple guesses. How many tons of CO2 do you think we removed? Someone, anyone? Lots. Huh? 100 million. That would be great. Actually, so in this game, our buyers reversed 33 million tons of CO2. And our suppliers did the work, and our buyers enabled that. So, yeah, the suppliers did it, and the buyers enabled, because that's how the synergy works. So, Paul, do you want to walk us through some of the things that?
Well, I want to ask if you all, does everyone still have their ledgers, or did we collect those?
Everybody still has their ledgers.
Who thinks they have the most money at the end of this? How much do you have?
We have $21.2 million.
Okay, who has more than that? How much do you guys have? 21, what? 21. Who has more than 22 million? More than 30 million?
More than 56 million.
56 million? Okay.
Wait, and what did you have back there? 56. Ooh.
And
Ooh.
they both have 56?
They both have 56 million.
What role were you guys?
We were the sellers.
You were
Suppliers.
suppliers? You were also suppliers? You were a buyer? Okay.
Supplier.
All right. So 56 million, that's the best on the supply side. Who bought the most CRCs?
Well, we don't know. So who
Oh,
bought?
they don't have those anymore?
Well, they know how many CRCs they bought. So who bought more than 1 million CRCs? Raise your hand. Who bought more than 2 million CRCs? Who bought more than 2.5 million CRCs? 3 million CRCs? 4 million CRCs? Okay, these tables, 3.5 million CRCs. That's amazing.
Okay. So what we wanted, the point of this game was to help you guys understand the different dynamics that are at play as you're thinking about this. There are price changes throughout time, and that's how the cryptocurrency works, whereas the price exchange between one token and one CRC is always fixed at one. So there's definitely an optimal sort of strategy depending on what happens to the price of the token. So the teams that had that made $56 million, what did you do? Or what was your strategy that you took?
You hodled. That's crypto for hold. Someone, the background is someone somewhere.
When did you sell your CRCs for tokens? Earlier in the game or later in the game?
Well, so we sold a little bit at the beginning to kind of hedge to get rid of our debt, but then we waited to the end and sold it all.
You sold your tokens at the end?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So, but you sold a little bit at the beginning to cover your initial costs.
Well, what you sold your CRCs for tokens in the beginning, and then you sold your tokens at the very end.
No. So we converted some amount of our Nori to dollars, a small amount at the very beginning. As soon as we got a hold of any CRCs, we immediately would convert them to Nori, and we held on to the majority of our Nori until the very end.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's the optimal strategy for at least like the price scenarios that we had playing out here. We saw some pretty large numbers coming in from the suppliers. On the buyer side, I think it tends to be a little more difficult.
Well, I also just wanted to make a point, and we talked about this at one of the tables earlier, is that the supplier numbers are pretty high because you're like a huge supplier in this scenario, because we wanted an even breakdown of people in the room who would be buyers or suppliers. In reality, the scale at which a buyer might want to reverse or negate their impact is much larger than, let's say, any one supplier, unless you're a mega supplier like you were today. But from the buyer side...
So what were the strategies that some of the buyers took? The buyers who bought the most CRCs, what did you do? You guys had a lot.
Well, we traded for the total twice. Then we traded that back with cash. Then we waited for the total to go up. And then we traded again. So we wanted to make sure we were penalized for not using the one. And then once we bought those credits, we just changed over to cash. Which is why we have a business on our cash.
So we tried to buy it much. We tried to make, we sold during the peaks of the price of the token when we had tokens. We tried to buy during the dip with those tokens. And then we absolved our debt towards like the very end, ending up with all those years of debt.
Well, you guys were just a power team because you had Josh and Jason and Teresa just like...
And Sean,
just,
We had two obligations, which was to make money, obviously, but also to meet the CRC requirements. So we were always trading one off against the other, whereas I think we were just speculators. We normally
Can't really hear.
oh, let me give her a mic. Let me just walk around with this mic.
I just wanted to say there's two motivators for playing. One is to meet the CRC requirements, and the other is to make money. So you're always playing one off against the other. And if we had been pure speculators, we would probably just have gone for making the money. So that's why I think the buyers are different from just pure exchange players on the crypto exchanges.
Yeah, so it's a really good point, and I had a question. From the buyers, who did not meet their CRC goals? Ooh, did you have enough money at the end? I know Jacob and Picard and Paul too went around. Did you have enough money at the end to pay?
We had the last quarter we had the CRCs for the tokens, but because it was $17, we monetized them and then paid the penalty.
Anybody else who had to pay a penalty? Do you want to say something about it?
Thanks. So yeah, from our perspective, when it all started at $1, we thought it was going to be pretty easy, and we had a low requirement for CRCs the first year, so we sort of took care of that. We bought some for the future, but we didn't have that much money even. We sort of sold it for a bit of a profit when it went up. And year two, the money flowed in, but at that point, the price was so high that we actually never recovered from that. So we sort of sold again some of what was left of our tokens for a better price. But because the price kept going up, basically, we never recovered, and we can't even pay the penalty. We're going down.
There was actually no solution. The most we could have gotten was like 2.8 million.
Oh, at the lowest price. price.
Yeah, if we had bought at the lowest price and sold at the highest that we could, the most we could have done were 2.8 million out of the 4.5 million.
So I rigged the game for them. No, it wasn't on purpose. It was just a mistake. I'm sorry, guys.
So I think there's a good point here about it wasn't clear as a buyer what precisely you were optimizing for. If you're trying to optimize the Save Planet, given the fact there was really 2 rounds to convert from your final cash balance up to CRCs, you kind of had to plan in advance, okay, wait, it's like Q2 of year 2, do I have the cash to get the remaining tokens to convert to the CRCs in the final rounds? To plan ahead for that, which is when the price spiked, which wasn't good. And so if you're just optimizing for cash, what you would have done naturally is acquire as many tokens early as possible, hold to the very end, and in that case, you could have sold the end, taken the penalty, and still made a profit. But if you were trying to actually fulfill your CRCs, we sold in the penultimate round before it went up again, and therefore we would have had taken more of a loss at the end there too, because at that point, the price of a token was even more than the penalty there. So the best case scenario here in this case would have been, buy the tokens early, sell at the very end, and then do a corporate inversion to move the company out of California to avoid the tax in the first place.
Anybody else have something they want to share? Oh, so many. I love it. Here, Karen.
Yeah, wow, that's loud. That's exactly what we did. And then we ended in compliance. We were in compliance in the first round of the second year, and then we cleared $11 million. So it worked out really well.
So I heard that the optimal strategy for the sellers, for the farmers, was to get the Nori tokens and then just hold them for as long as possible. But in our group, we realized we're mushroom farmers. That's what we do. All we want to do is grow mushrooms and sell them and make a living. We're not speculators. We don't want to play the crypto market. So even though the ranchers over here like to optimize when they sell their beef, mushroom farmers don't do that. When the mushroom's ready, you sell it. And so for us, even though maybe in this case, the optimum strategy was to hold until the end, we're not gamblers like these ranchers.
On top of that, we were grazing on public land. So.
So thanks, Christian, for bringing up the. It's interesting because we represented the Carini's Farm Collective in Kansas, and it's a group of 10 farmers who each have about 1,000 acres each, and they've been practicing regenerative farming practices. And we decided a few things. We decided to hold on to 50,000 CRCs, maybe to hold for the regen market, or to fund a moonshine operation. So we want to keep this in our pocket. This is for the kids. We made $25 million in cash, and we are going to use that money to fund a public school for regenerative agriculture in Kansas. We also are showing our confidence in the Nori market by holding on to 1.2 million Nori coins, which would have brought our total cash to about $45 million, but we chose to hold on to it, also for the kids.
Thanks. Anybody else? Wolf.
We had some guy come to our table to kind of offer us some CRC straight from the farm, and without going to the buy and sell desk. I won't tell you what happened.
Okay. So where's Paul? Oh, there's Paul. So a couple of things that I wanted to ask. Another question is, what do you guys think is different? I mean, we mentioned it, Matt mentioned it, Christian mentioned it. It's different from reality. The first thing is that you could only make one move per round. What a dumb rule. It was because of logistics, because of people being in the room. And it's just a simulation. But in real life, you would be able to do multiple things in a much shorter span of time. You could buy purchase CRCs with Nori tokens. You could exchange Nori tokens with US dollars at the same time. Another thing that changes, like in reality, as suppliers, you have bills to pay, right? So you're not just going to sell your CRCs for Nori tokens and then hold your Nori tokens like you're living happy, waiting for that price to get to $17 because you're like, well, I got to keep my farm running, right? So that's another thing. Anything else people want to point out? The price went up? Yeah, it's different from reality. Well, I think it's going to go up in reality too.
So one of the things we realized is we, at our collective, we had a $1.9 million cost to remove the carbon. And I imagine all other suppliers had an assumption built in around the cost of removing the carbon. And we were able, fortunately, in our first 2 quarters, we were able to more than cover that, and we had $100,000 left over, which was great. But we realized that there are a couple questions in real life that would play out. First of all, did it really only cost us $1 million, or did it cost more? And then second of all, going forward, this is a 2-year marketplace, but life on the farm doesn't end after 2 years. So looking across a much longer time horizon, would it cost more? Or were we done? Would it cost more to keep regenerating, doing different techniques to sequester more? Would we look to our neighbors and start to invest and collaborate? We're actually a cooperative. So that $1.9 million felt like a really important number to us to understand better. Are there efficiencies over time? Is that just the tip of the iceberg in the kind of expense and investment we'd be making? So that was one question we had.
I have to offer that as a farmer, this issue of the fact that we've got bills to pay, yeah, we get that. But on the same token, when you first introduce this new revenue stream to the landscape, this is a differential that's going to occur between on commodities that have a very active trading floor now. On the issue that I can hedge my grain right now into 2019, and if I find the right guys or gals, I can even go to 2020. So I have 2018 crop right now that I haven't planted, and it ain't going to happen anytime soon with the weather, already sold. So the issue becomes the grain that I don't sell. You didn't put a penalty into this game for the issue that I have to pay storage on that, and that's an extra cost coming on me. So you left us open to be able to hang on to a commodity and pick a better spot. All we were gambling on was what's going to appear on that screen. And therefore, it maximizes our opportunity to pick red or black and hope like hell it comes up right and you go home, in a $25,000 car instead of a $250,000 bus. And the issue then of how you've set this game up, at the end of the day, how does this all square? Because where did this wealth get created from? Somebody around here is sitting damn deep in a hole, and somebody, even though you're moving Noris, so what? Where is the actual balance that's going to occur here? Because coming back to the farm gate, we've seen a lot of things come and go, and you can always tell a farmer, but not much, and this is why.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody.